So change is supposed to be a normal part of the Christian life. And what if we're not changing? Big three. Here's the 3-point checklist. Number 1, true conversion. Number 2, spiritual disciplines. And number 3, strongholds. Number 1, true conversion. For me, mine happened at age 19. I grew up in the church, but I never loved God. In fact, I feared God and I resented God and I doubted God. But at age 19, something switched when I genuinely prayed for God to come take over. And I actually surrendered my life and my will to God because I realized that me in charge of my life was hell on earth. And my prayer was, God, if there's any way you'll accept me, even though you shouldn't, I'm a mess, but if you'll have me, can you please take over? And boop, something changed. And from that point on, I woke up every morning with a consciousness, an awareness of the reality of God. And from that moment till now, I have had an unbroken sense that my sins are forgiven and I belong to God. That's called conversion, friends. And my parents confirmed the change, that I went all overnight from being someone who they couldn't trust, from being someone who would lie to them, to being someone who instead did what I believed would honor them best, including cutting my hair because I knew that Dad didn't like my hair, including going to the Bible school that my mom wanted me to go to without an argument because, okay, honor your father and mother. That's what she wants me to do. I don't want to do it, but that's what she wants me to do, and that's a clear Bible teaching. And so when you have true conversion, the first thing that happens is your nature changes and the fear of the Lord comes into you. Item number 2 on the checklist is what I would call spiritual disciplines. Look at the word disciple. It has the same root in it as the word discipline. And so what I'm really talking about when I say spiritual disciplines, I'm talking about arranging our lives around knowing Jesus. It's like Jesus has been brought into the home, but now we're rearranging the home around his preferences, his patterns, and his ways of being in the world. You really don't have any more important jobs than this. Rearrange your life so that you are experiencing abundant peace, hope, and joy in Jesus. Here's why this matters. If you sat down, if you got this newfound desire to play the piano, you heard something by Beethoven or whatever, and you were overwhelmed with inspiration and desire, and you said, I want to make beautiful music. So you sat down at the piano. How many of you think that if you just try hard enough in that moment, you'll be able to play Beethoven? Right? Show of hands. Who thinks just trying hard in that moment, you never played the piano before, but you know what it sounds like, you're just going to sit down, and because you really want to do it, you're going to be able to do it? Show of hands. You know, trying. Okay. Now let's, instead of trying, what if you rearranged your schedule so that you met with a skilled teacher and you learned the basics, the rudiments, the building blocks, how to play a scale, how to hold your hand, exercises, how to recognize intervals, and how to find those intervals. And then you could try to begin combining the left and right hands, right? But how many of you people think that if you had that strong desire to play Beethoven and then you submitted to daily training, just an hour a day, training, that you were going to be able to do it? Now, it's amazing how many more hands went up for actually, I can't see. I'm on a video, but just pretend. And some of you are like, it's a video. I'm not raising my hand for a stupid video. Training works. Trying does not work. And a lot of people, when they approach the Jesus life, they hear him say something like, you've heard that it says don't murder, but I'm telling you, you're in danger if you get angry with your brother. And you definitely have to watch out for anger that can store and become hatred. And you go, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to say idiot to my brother. I'm not even supposed to hold on to that anger. How many of you think that on day one, you hear Jesus say, don't be angry, and then you just try, and after that, the anger goes away because since you're born again and you tried, it should work for you. Hands up in the house that think just being born again and trying is enough? Okay, it's like Beethoven, isn't it? Remember how I said last week that our sinful behaviors have been formed all the way down into our body. They've worked themselves down into our body habits to where I react in anger before I have a chance to even think through a response. The same thing can happen in terms of godliness with diligent surrender and training. I said a lot on disciplines. The third one is strongholds. Let's say you're truly converted and you've rearranged your life around obedience to Jesus, but you still find that you're stuck in some area. Well, it's possible you have a stronghold there. And you say, what is a stronghold? Well, the image of a stronghold is like a walled city that's on a hill, and it's very safe and defensible from a military standpoint. A stronghold in your thinking is a deep-seated belief that is incompatible with God's truth, and that because that deep-seated belief is lodged in your consciousness somewhere, it's leading to bad fruit. Now, here's the thing. Some of you would be saying, I don't have any strongholds. Well, strongholds are usually subconscious. We don't know we believe them, and we don't know we're enslaved by them, but the Lord knows. The wisdom of Jesus is to find some people who are spirit-filled and overflowing with love, who have experience in applying the truth of the gospel in the power of the Spirit to the wounds of your heart. The finished work of Jesus is sufficient to set us completely free. And what an inner healing prayer person will do is simply help you surrender to allow the Spirit to apply the gospel to that particular issue that's keeping you stuck. So there's your little checklist. You want true conversion. If you are not truly converted, there is no reason why you can't say this prayer right now. Say, Jesus, help me, save me, take over my life. I want to follow you. I want to know you. It's a simple prayer. You don't do the heavy lifting. You just surrender and open the door, and he does the heavy lifting. Okay, and then disciplines, rearranging your life. Now, consider this reality. Set aside time daily to meet with Jesus. But there should be a breathing in of what he has to say and a breathing out of what you have to say to him. That is so healthy, but also weekly patterns of being with the people of God, especially on the Lord's Day, committing to bring him an offering. Old Testament, we brought the Lord sacrifices that were greatly costly, and the point of worship was to bring a pleasing aroma to the Lord. But somehow in the church nowadays, it seems almost like we think it's about us, getting our needs met, getting our preferences met. We want to make sure that we like the singing, we like the preaching, and we like the people, we like the culture, we like the building, we like the light show. Everything's backwards. Arrange your life around learning how to give him an offering that's pleasing to him. That's more important. And then number 3, the strongholds. When you find that you're stuck and there's an area where you can't get free, pursue freedom by going to wise, godly, spirit-filled people who can help you connect more fully to Jesus. Now, final thought. Man, it is so windy outside. It's crazy right now. That's crazy. So what makes the Christian change is the receiving of God's delight. He delights in you. He cherishes you. He treasures you. That ultimately is where the change comes from, when you know he loves you. My friend Brian Connolly has a good prayer life, and his grandma said, like, how are you able to pray and pray and pray and not get bored? And he said, I don't know, Grandma. So he asked the Lord about it. Why am I able to pray like this? And the Lord said, oh, that's really simple, Brian. You settled a long time ago. What? You settled a long time ago that I desire you. Okay, guys, I'm going to go check out what's going on with this storm out here. See ya.